Here's my entry for the educational Pwnage. I have chosen ppsimmons video, Questions for Evolutionists. I would first like to say that I have a zoology degree, and I have studied taxonomy, cladistics, and mammalian evolution and diversity, both on my own and at the university. The first minute of ppsimmons video simply makes a bunch of statements saying evolutionists can't answer the following questions. He also includes annotations with lots of quote mining. His first objection is nothing became everything argument. Okay, while many find it absurd that everything could come from nothing, there is plenty of evidence pointing to a universe that began 13.7 billion years ago. There are many observations that fit with the Big Bang cosmology, such as Einstein's theory of relativity, the Hubble law, CMB radiation, etc. The Big Bang doesn't even rule out God. In fact, there are many Christians who believe that God created the universe from nothing billions of years ago and allowed natural processes to take place. Second objection is abiogenesis conveniently happened billions of years ago for nobody to observe. Okay, that life began is known, but how exactly it began is still being researched. However, much scientific work has been done that strongly points to abiogenesis, including research into the formation of long proteins, synthesis of complex molecules in space, research into molecule formation in different atmospheres, synthesis of constituents in the iron-sulfur world around hydrothermal vents. His third objection is, can you give an example of a single genetic mutation or an evolutionary process which can be seen to increase the useful, beneficial information in the genome? Okay, many creationists use a video of Dawkins being stumped at the question, when in fact he wasn't. He was simply surprised to realize that it was a creationist asking the question. One of perhaps many examples of a genetic mutation that increases information is RNase-1, a gene for a pancreatic enzyme, was duplicated, and in langur monkeys, one of the copies mutated into RNase-1b, which works better in the more acidic small intestine of the langur. There are many more examples. Looking up gene duplication in PubMed will give you 3,000 references. His fourth objection. Can you document just one? There should be millions. 100% verifiable transitionary fossil that proves definitively that one species actually changed into another completely different species. Alright, there are many. Tiktaalik is a good example of a fish to amphibian transition. Thrinaxodon is a good reptile to mammal transition. Rhodocetus is just one of many land mammal to whale transitions. You don't even have to look at fossil evidence to see that species clearly have a common ancestor. Fossils are merely the icing on the cake. We see evidence of common ancestry, or as you say, one species changing into another, in genetic evidence, anatomical evidence, vestigial structures, etc. And by the way, you probably are tempted to use the fanciful drawings argument, but creationists are just as guilty of that. The fifth objection. Since you point out that evolution theory only involves the suppositions of evolutionary processes of living things, how does evolution deal with the appearance of the atom and its quantum particles? Alright, just because all biological entities are physical doesn't mean biology should be reduced to physics. Evolution does not deal with the appearance of the atom or subatomic particles, nor does it say that everything came from nothing. Any question dealing with atoms is a question for physics. Okay, the sixth objection. He actually makes the watchmaker argument. Just to let you know, he is aware that we can tell the difference between artificial and natural systems, apparently already hearing the arguments against the watchmaker argument. However, he still seems to think that evolution says everything came from explosions of rocks. ppsimmons is intellectually dishonest in trying to redefine evolution. So, being an educational Pwnage video, I will define evolution here. In biology, evolution is change in the gene pool of a population from generation to generation by such processes as mutation, natural selection, and genetic drift. His argument is basically saying that if we believe complex life forms evolved, then we would have to also believe artificial devices such as a watch had to evolve too. When you look at living systems, they often contain vestigial structures that are no longer useful, such as the human appendix and tonsils. These organs have a purpose in other animals, but not in humans. Another example destroying the design argument is the laryngeal nerve. This nerve goes from the brain down past the lungs, around the diaphragm, and back up into the throat region. If this nerve was designed, then certainly it would have a more direct route to its destination. In a giraffe, for instance, it has to go all the way down the neck and back up, a total distance of 15 feet, even though the larynx is less than a foot from the brain. That's all I have for this educational Pwnage video.